Good morning, welcome back to Morning Live. A final look at your sports news now for today. Now, yesterday, after the Test series loss to England at the Oval, Mark Boucher announced his resignation from the Proteas head coaching job. And to help us understand the importance of this move, we have cricket analyst Lunga Kupiso joining us. Good morning, Lunga. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning to you, Vasiwe.
So Mark basically has two more assignments with the Proteas. It's the series against India and then the T20 World Cup. Do you think that he can finish off his tenure at the Proteas on a high note?
Well, he'll hope that he can finish on a high. He's got the right caliber of players around him who would want to sort of put out results that are going to help him shine on his way out. And it's a matter of just hoping that the right boxes again are crossed. But if you look at the evidence of the last series or the last two series that the side has played in, there's room for doubt, there's uncertainty, but it is what it is, I suppose.
And as you speak about the uncertainty, let's go a little bit deeper than looking at just the last two series that he's been involved with the Proteas team. Overall, his tenure at the Proteas, has it been a successful one? Is it one that he will look back on and say, job well done, Mark?
Well, I suppose he can look back and say he's done well. He's faced a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of question marks. I mean, if you recall his appointment, there was a lot of, I want to say, outside noise, as he likes to describe, on qualifications, on him just disregarding the local system and some of the boxes he has to tick as a coach if he wants to be a national coach. Then there was a scandal on racism that he had to sort of give answers to, and how he took time to respond to those allegations that were put against him. Eventually, that was all put away. That obviously will have an impact on the psyche of the man, which then informs, the decision-making of the guy who's leading the side or who's coaching the national side. In terms of the results, we can look and say, look, the Proteas have had some incredible series results, but also they've had some, historical losses that we just simply can't, overlook. But I think he leaves the side in sort of a similar balance as to what he had found.
Now, when we look at cricket in general all over the world, we've seen a lot of the top orders failing, and some have attributed this to the quality of those pace bowlers. Where do you think Mark could have focused on more in order to ensure that the team can do better?
Well, I think, to say that fast bowlers are the reason why we are seeing a decline in the quality of batters is not entirely true, I struggle to accept that analysis throughout the world because fast bowling is not a new phenomenon.
Yes, it's been around.
I mean, the West Indians terrorized the entire cricketing world out of nowhere through fast bowling. Pakistan has produced some incredible fast bowlers. So it's not really a rise in the quality of fast bowlers. It's just purely a decline in the quality of batters. And this is, the lasting impact of the introduction of T20 cricket. Everybody wants to play baseball, as it's known now in England. And the impact of baseball is exactly that, in that Test cricket is not going to go 5 days. Yeah. 2 days and you're out. You're lucky if you get to 3 days. 3.5 days, you should pay more. That's where we are as a cricketing world. And that's because T20 cricket is here, and now there's the introduction of the 100, which seems to be picking up more momentum, picking up more pace. What that is doing to Test cricket is you might even be lucky to see a Test match that's going to last a day and a half. That's the reality of the current cricketing landscape that we see. What Boucher could have done, perhaps to help South Africa become an even stronger side in terms of Test cricket, stronger in the sense that you can't really measure the quality of the Proteas against a Sri Lanka or a Bangladesh or a Pakistan, but stronger in the sense that they can go 5 days against an Australia, 5 days against India, 5 days against England. Those are the three big boys, and that's who you want to make sure that you can compete with and take them to the final hour, to the final ball, up until the MSA time. What he could have done is, instead of giving prolonged opportunities to batters who are failing, is continuously create that culture that says if you don't produce the results, you're going to drop back into the system. So trust that the system can produce batters, quality batters who can do well at an international level. And he didn't do that. And you can sort of understand he was justified to back some batters on a prolonged, because the last thing you want is to invite a batsman or a player into the Proteas side and then drop them the minute they don't score results. But it has worked well for Australia. I'll say this again. Australia, if you don't produce results, you get dropped. Go find your form at domestic level. The domestic system is designed to help you find your form. Once you produce there, come back in line, await your opportunity. Versus here in SA, we work in a slightly different system where once you make it into the Proteas, we find every sort of reason to keep you there, even if you're not producing the results.
Lunga, thank you so much for your time this morning. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Just a name, likely replacement. Just a name.
Jeff Toyana Mandla Mashimbiye.
Oh, there we go. Jeff and Mandla likely to replace Mark Boucher there as the head coach of the Proteas. That is according to Lunga Kupiso, as we were talking all things Mark Boucher resigning as the head coach of the Proteas. That's how we wrap up your sports news for today. Time now for an ad break. But for SABC Sports News on Morning Live, a good morning to you. My name is Vusiwe Ngobo.